Ooh. 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 Hi guys, so these are some of the Madonna toys. I think from like 5 years ago. I used to take my little daughter to Madonna all the time. Back then, she was only like 5 years old. Got a lot of toys left over. Most of them were thrown away. Uh, I had these toys left. These are two of my favorites, so I'm kind of collecting them. But anyway, it's kind of late. It's about 10:30, 10:45 right now. So just recording or live or coming live on this video here, okay? What's going on, everybody? What's going on? You guys saw the max deportation? Donald Trump's max deportation. I watched a little bit of the video, the news. So it was saying that Donald Trump had two airplanes. I'm not sure what size, 747 or not, that had the illegal immigrant packed in there, and it was took off, and then it got to Colombia, and the airport won't let the airplanes land. So they took the illegal immigrants back, and then Donald Trump and the president of Colombia have a little battle over the phone or over the political system that they had in place. That he told the Colombia government that if they don't accept the deportation of these illegal immigrants, they will be hit with a high 20% tariff. Okay? Besides that, the government officials in Colombia will not be able to come and visit the U.S. no more. They will be denied the visa to visit the United States. So after this little battle, back and forth, the Colombia president or whatever government finally gave up allowing the deportations of the illegal immigrants back. So it's a win-win for Donald Trump on this one over Colombia. So I heard that the news saying that the reason was because the Colombian government saying that the people that were deported back, the illegal immigrants, were treated so bad out of their dignities. And that's why the government won't let the airplane land, because they were taken out of it. They were hog-tied, they were handcuffed, they were thrown in the airplane like animals, and they were caged out and took him back and expect him to land. Really, I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. It's probably better than how they made the journey through South America, through Mexico, and through the was it the Grande River, and made it to cross the border and all these sufferings. Hi Jeffrey, say hi to you, okay? Thank you for joining me for your comment. So the this is an event that just happened like a couple of days ago. So like I say, guys, I sometimes come here, we'll talk about event and what I think, okay? So these will be one of the event, first one that I talk about on this channel. My channel here, Black Panther and the Princess. So you guys are here by accident. That's fine. If you don't like it, you can just leave me alone. If you like it, thumbs up, subscribe, okay? So, what do you guys think about? I know a couple of you guys are already here. So, what do you guys think about the Donald Trump's plans for all this deportation of the immigrants? Is it fair? Is it too racist for someone, or is it's not fair, or is it bad? So you guys know that. Hi, Lauren Clockett. Say hi to you. So, what do you guys think? I know, like China, right? The country of China, they do not allow immigrants over there. You can go there vacation to visit. You can go there for school. You can go there for business. But you're not allowed to live in China as a legal alien, right? Some people have the business and go live in China for many years, but because they have a business there, but you're not allowed to become a Chinese citizen if you want to do that in China. So you probably see on the internet, like some of these African women, they went to China and married a Chinese man, or some of these Chinese men will marry some African women and then brought it to China, but they're not allowed to have citizens, you know? So, like in Southeast Asia, like Vietnam, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, they have women that go to China or was married to Chinese men, and they're brought back to China, but they're never allowed to have citizenship in China. I'm not talking about just moving to China, right? This is like marriage. They're legally married and they go to China, and they're not even, it's very hard to, they're not even allowed to go to work because they don't have the documents in China, and then they don't even get their legal alien and then become a citizen of Chinese people. So you guys know that like China is zero tolerance. So what Donald Trump is doing is opposite. It's just the same way, he's trying to become something like that. In today's world, is you never know who it is, what it is, what their plan is to come to the U.S., right? So, to me, on this event of deportation, or all this max deportation, these illegal or legal immigrants, or to to me, I think it's just fair. It's fair enough. It is. It is a time where in this whole world that people stay in their own country instead of moving to another. You know, like illegally running to another place. It's just like you're running away from your problems. You know, and if you have a problem in your world or your country, whatever, the country that you live in should be able to resolve the issue. Uh, you know, so I think what Donald Trump does, his max deportation is it's fair enough to me, though, right? So anyway, uh, as you look at me here, I don't know if you're Asian, you will understand I'm Asian, and my the people, community is the Hmong people. So how did I come here? How did I come here into the U.S.? It was a long story, which is I don't know most, just like everybody else, but it's more critical than that. So to become a citizen in the U.S., I'm not. I wasn't born here. I came here when I was 14 already. So didn't have much time to go to school or anything. I had to grow up very fast because I was orphan. I didn't have any parents. So when I got to the US, I only got 4 years high school. And then I went straight to work and became a good citizen, got married, had children, bought a house, maintain a job, uh, study the people here, learn how to adjust, do not commit any crime, be a good citizen. Because I know I live in the land of opportunity and the land of the free. So I had to be free. You had to live. You had to follow the law, live by the rule, work hard, earn your money, buy a house, move out of the ghettos, outside the city. So be a good citizen, right? Stay out of trouble. What I mean is stay out of trouble, and then you should be fine. And I've been living here since 19 in the U.S. since 1985, 86. So it's been almost 50 years, 40 years. I came as 14. Right now I'm 54. So it's been 35 years, right? So to become a citizen, you had to learn a little bit of American history, right? So let me ask you guys this. Do you guys know what is the first colony in the United States, the U.S.? What is the U.S. first colony called? What is the where and what is the first colony? You guys know? So when I become a citizen, I had to go, study a lot of American histories to go take my test to become a naturalized citizen. So there are rules you gotta learn, right? I remember one of the questions they asked is, where is the Statue of Liberty stand at? Where is the Statue of Liberty at? Is it in New York? Is it in the island of New York? Or is it in Maryland? Is in the island of in Maryland, right? So they had these questions. They asked the question like that. But anyway, do you guys know what number is President Trump? You guys know what number is president since George Washington? So Donald Trump is the 47th president, right? Joe Biden was the 46th, and Donald Trump was the 45th, and Obama was the 44th president, right? A lot of Americans walking down the street don't even know what number or what president Trump is. What number, you know? Uh, or if I ask you, where and what is and where is the American first colony, right? And what's the name of it? Kind of like what's the first colony? So anybody knows? So the first colony was in Jamestown, Virginia, right? That was American first colony, and it kind of like it was established by the Virginia uh, uh, what do you call it? Virginia group that it's from England. So Jamestown was like the town that the Pilgrims first arrived, and they settled there. So if you were to read the first 13 colony, like New Hampshire would be the first colony of the 13 colonies in the United States, but the very first colony was Jamestown, Virginia. Okay. So like you probably know like the American flag. What are the 13 stripes, the 3 colors, and the 50 stars, right? So you ask a lot of Americans on the street, they don't even know. So when ISIS go on the street and they arrest you, they will ask you questions like that. If you're a citizen, you better prepare yourself, ask questions like that, right? Oh, so what are the 13 stripes of the flag in the United States? What are the 3 colors of the flag? What does it stand for? What is the 50 stars on the American flag? So you guys know that I am Hmong, okay, part of the Mongol families, okay, tribes. I do not come here illegally, but my facial structure, my body, and it represents all Asians. So it would be very confusing to the Americans, to most young Americans. For those who went to Vietnam for the Vietnam-American conflict, they know what Hmongs are, but for like the young people here in the U.S., they probably don't know who are Hmong people. You guys know? So being Asian in America, the land of the free and the land of the opportunity, yes, it is hard. It is true, but it is hard. It's not what you guys in other countries think, that you try to come to the U.S., it's going to be that easy like you think. I don't know how people are pouring into this country and standing by the border and leave their country and then left their country to another country and then end up in end up in Mexico or Mexico, Tijuana, south of the border, and try to enter the United States, or go to Canada and try to get into the United States. And if you are Asian or you from another country, guys, and you listen to me here and you're watching me here, uh, I I want to tell you guys that in America here it's a land of the free, but it's not really free. Okay, it is like a modern day slavery and modern day communism. Okay, because there is law and rules that you had to follow. You are free to say whatever you want to say because the First Amendment, right? Freedom of speech, freedom of the press. Okay, so and then like a Second Amendment, the freedom of owning a gun, you can own, and do all those things. But there's also law and rules that you gotta follow. So you're not really free. You're free to speak. You're free to go to work. You're free to move to any state, any place you want. Except private property, no trespassing, and government controlled buildings. You cannot go there, right? Uh, so let me give you an example. Like in like country Laos. In Laos, that's the country that I came from. If I go there, I am not allowed to go visit anybody in the village. I have to stay in the hotel. Okay. Over there, the residents there, if you were born in a certain village, certain city, or certain district, and you want to move to another, let's say you're born in Luang Prabang, Laos, and you wanted to move to Vientiane, Laos, and you want to become a person that a resident there or in Vientiane, you are not allowed. The government there runs this country like that. You're born in Luang Prabang, your resident is in Luang Prabang for life. Okay? Unless you have a relative that already established, they're living in Laos, in Vientiane, and then that person had to go through the government of provincial like officials, like the mayor, and then go through all that. Say, hey, this is my relative, my brother, whatever. I'm living in Vientiane, but I want him to come down here and be part of my life and live down here as a resident or as a citizen down here in Vientiane. Then you have to go through all these province, governments, and process all this paperwork that you're responsible for your cousin or your brother there to move to Vientiane and become a resident there. And when he gets there, you have to provide a place for him to live. See, that's how hard it is in Laos already. And you're born there in Luang Prabang, and you have to be resident there for life. Wherever you're born, you're supposed to stay there forever. But over there, if you're a girl and you marry a guy from Vientiane, then yeah, you'll go live with your husband down there, and then become residents down there. So they're very restricted in Laos. In the United States, if I want to move from California to Texas, I just pack my shit, my things, and put in the U-Haul and just go over there, right? Nothing's asked. And then when I get there, they give me like, a month, depending on each state, 2 months, 3 months to go and inform or complete some application that you are living in Texas now, because the government want to know your what is it your census, how many people live in Texas. That's all they want to know. They don't ask you a question like, well, you moved from California, do you have a document approved by the governor of California allowing you to move to another state? No, it's free here in the U.S. If you guys live in Asia, you guys are Asian and from Malaysia, Philippines, Thailand, Laos, you're watching me right now. I'm telling you, in the U.S., you're free to move. Your freedom of movement is easy. Okay? Nobody's gonna stop you. You're free to divorce. You're free everything. Just you had to live by the rule of the government that runs the country established. So, yeah, you gotta pay taxes, all those things, and whatever you do, we over here, guys, we don't go hunting like you guys do in Asia. Okay, you in Asia, you just want to hunt animal, shoot birds in the wood. You go and you find a bird, you shoot them down. Okay, you find an animal, you shoot them. You trap them, you shoot them. Without anything, without anybody saying anything. You go fishing in the pond, the lake, in the river, whatever you want, you're free to go do that, right? But not in the USA, not in the United States. Here, if you want to go fishing every year, you have to purchase a fishing license. A single person be $30. Specific fish that you want to fish, you have to add a tab. So like my regular fishing license would be $30. If I want to trout fishing, I have to add another $10. I want to fish for what do you call that? For sturgeon. You want to catch those huge dinosaur age sturgeons. You have to buy a special ticket on top of your fishing license, and it will allow you to fish only in September in the state that I live, and the fish have to be 69 inches long to be able to keep. Okay, otherwise anything smaller you have to let it go. So everything here, the wildlife, the animals, the nature here, it's controlled by the government. So you have to live by the rule. You can't just go to the river and poison the river with, poison the fish. And Juan, hello. Juan say America is the land of the free. Yes. All right. That's the right word. This is the land of the free. As long as you pay your fee, you're free to go do what you want to do. Okay? So here, as long as you live by the rule that's set by the government. So we got federal, and we got state, and we got local, we got city, and then we got local. There are different rules. So like my house, my resident here, I cannot keep the grass more than 4-inch tall. Okay? Every time it's 4-inch tall, I have to make sure I mow the lawn. Okay? There's one time I had it a little too long. I got a letter from the city, from the local city here, my resident. And they sent me these letters saying, Mr. Yang, we noticed that your grass it's taller than the neighbors. If you don't have time to mow your lawn, we'll send somebody out and then you just pay the fee. And that's why, because they don't want your house to be deteriorate like your neighbors. If you, I know you live in the ghetto, it's different story, guys. They don't care. Like, if you go to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, you can go to the north side. Yes, every house is kind of falling apart, and people don't care. You know, you actually you ruin the whole community. The properties there became less valuable, priceless. So sooner or later, the whole block, the whole city, then become a ghetto. Uh, it's like a cockroach territory where cockroach start crawling on in. The people there start doing drugs, and then gangster moves in, and you know, drugs business going on. Tax to no end, yes. But you know, you go to a good neighborhood here, you know, you gotta follow the rules. So I remember one time my neighbor had a trailer. In the trailer, he had a racing car in there and a motorcycle. So it's a long, big trailer, and he had a park in my house. My house is like right here, and his house is like on the east side, and in between us, this high, you know, like these bushes plus trees. So he parked the trailer in between, right? We was hidden there for a reason. The city inspector drove by, and they are looking around. They saw that trailer parked in the grass. So I got a letter from the city telling me, you know, Mr. Yang, we just like to notify you that in the city, such as etc., etc., you cannot park any vehicle on the grass. You want to park, it had to have solid, permanent floor, like cement or you know. So it wasn't for they got the wrong guy though. But I showed the letter to my neighbor. I said, you know, this letter is supposed to be for you, cause that's your trailer. It's not mine. So I called the city and said, no, that's not mine. You better talk to my neighbor because that's his. Vaughn said U.S. natives can't hunt on our own land unless we pay them. Yeah, the native. I mean, the Native American, they live in their own reservations. They got their own land. It's a little country in a country, in their own little state in the state. So they got their own, you know, property, their own territory, their own resorts, their own hunting grounds. You know, we cannot go fishing or hunting at their property either. Uh, but the United States is it's like each state is like a country. So the 50 stars represent the 50 states. Each state is like its own country, you know, and they're all tied up in the U.S. federal. So as you guys know, each state can break away if they wanted to. Let's say California no longer want to be part of the U.S. They can become their own little country, or they can decide they want to be part of Mexico or Mexico. You know, only Hitler did that in the 1930s. Yeah, Hitler and Pol Pot in Cambodia. They think they're crazy. You know, they only want one color, one language, one people in the world. So yeah, they're a little crazy though. Hitler and Pol Pot. Pol Pot murdered over 2 million people in Cambodia from the 70s, 60s, 70s because he he thought that he only want his own kind, his own race, and he had to eliminate all the other Cambodians, you know. But anyway, so as you guys know, when I first came here in 1985, the end of 1985, connecting to 86. When I first came, I was part of the refugees. So how did I become refugees? So we as Hmong people, we live in the village, the mountain highland of Laos. And after 1898, all the Hmong people immigrant, crossing the top rough terrain between Laos and Vietnam and China to Laos. The reason was because the British, right? You guys know that. The British went to China and started the Opium War with China. And China and the English, they had the Opium War. So in about, a couple of weeks, China lost the war, right? And then the British made China pay all the cost of the war. China had to pay the British because China started the war. They didn't want British England to be in China because the Chinese government, the Qing dynasty, they did not want British over there. So at the time, they did not open the China to the world to be to all over China. Just like how now we don't want the illegal immigrants to come here. Don't want no business. So when they lost the war with the British, they had to pay high tax. So the Hmong people had like, 3 civil war with the Chinese. But the Hmong people were like the Jews to the Germans, right? To Hitler. So Hmong people to China, they're like the Jewish people to China. The Opium Wars caused that. So the Chinese government had to pay taxes and restitution to the British. So now they had no money. They had to collect taxes from the people, the civilian people that live in China. So we were part of their life. So now they're collecting higher tax and higher and higher. So we had a rebellion against the Chinese. As you guys know, all this minority like the Shan, the Hmong, the Karen, and the Miao, a lot of the Asian people that live in Laos or Burma or Thailand right now, they were part of the rise against the Chinese government, and their push to migrant outside of China. So that's how we got into Laos. My ancestors, they end up in Laos. Okay. One says help people. Opium wars. Now they call it war on drugs. Yes. So when we had nothing to do with the war in Vietnam, okay, guys. I'm kind of give you guys a little history here about my situation not to, you know, educate you guys, but just about myself, so you guys can understand my how I become citizen in the U.S. and things like that. So I was young. I was born like uh, in the I'm not sure what year, but between 72 and 75. So I was born in between that. I'd say like 72, you know, around there. Uh, but I know a little history about what happened there. So the French colonized Cambodia and Laos, right, from the 1800s. Well, in the 1900s, they're still there, right? All the way until the 1950s, when Ho Chi Minh went to study abroad, like Europe, and he studied American politics, and he studied communism, right? European and socialism. So he went back to Vietnam, and he, became a person that wanna change Vietnam because the French were taking advantage of Vietnam and torturing its people and took a lot of resources out of Vietnam and make people slave over there and imprison people and murder people and torture and kill a lot of people over there. So Ho Chi Minh wanted South and North Vietnam to be one nation. So they had the civil war and they knocked the French out of Dien Bien Phu, and that was the last battle, the French against North Vietnamese, the Viet Cong. And then when they just like the movie, We Were Soldiers by Mel Gibson and them. You guys saw that movie? The It kind of happened just like that. The French gave up, you know, after they lost the war to Ho Chi Minh. And then when they fled Laos, communists were strong trying to go into Southeast Asia with the Russian going in there, Chinese, Mao Zedong out there, the people influence going out, communism. So American, Kennedy was president at the time, afraid that communists would be taking over Southeast Asia. And the French gave up already. They went home. They told America, it's yours. We gave up. It's all yours. Southeast Asia, we no longer control it. And America, you're free to go. So, that's why America got involved and try to help the South Vietnamese, presidents. And, so they got involved. As my parents, my grandparents, they got involved too. Okay, so Americans, at the time they're fighting for like until 1951, 52 in that area, and they wanted to the Ho Chi Minh, the Viet Cong, the Viet Minh, they were transporting food, weapons, medicines, and manpower through Laos, crossing the Laos because there's territory, the line, the South Vietnamese army, but the American army, soldiers, military is there. So the Viet Cong, Viet Minh was not able to, the Viet Minh's not able to send troops and food and medicine and weapons to South. So they had to cross over Laos, create this thing called the Ho Chi Minh Ho Chi Minh Trail. So for the Ho Chi Minh to do that, America want some sabotage on that Ho Chi Minh Trail. They cannot send their own soldiers, so they talked to the French government. and they say, well, there's a group of people called the Hmong people. At the time, they called the Miao people in the mountain. So actually, we're part of the Hmong people, and the Mongols, the Miao. They in China they call the Miao people. So they told the government, American government, that hey, if you guys wanted to hire some create some guerrilla unit to sabotage the Vietnamese Ho Chi Minh Trail. There are this group of people that live in the hill tribes, the hill tribes people, and we know somebody that you can go and talk to, which is General Wang Pao. Now the General Wayne Powell is a regular man, at the long time ago, but he helped the French establish a lot of things. So he knew the French, and the French knew him. That's why they sent American CIA directly to the mountain and talked to General Wayne Powell. To Wayne Powell, and Wayne Powell was able to agree to them. So in like the mid 50s, CIA was secretly flying over Thailand. They had their base in Udon Thani, Thailand. So they're in there, and that's why they had this Air America, and they had these American people that they go there to fly airplanes and transport airplanes, and they're flying, crossing to Laos, and they had General Wayne Powell build this little airport called Long Tien, right? Long Tien is like surrounded by mountains, and the city or the airport is like in a small valley down there, right? So today, if you guys go to Laos, you can go visit Long Tien. Everything's still there. General Wayne Powell's building is still there, that the American helped build for him with CIA money, American fund, and a lot of those money were from drugs, illegal drugs. Again, another drug war in Laos, because America want the opium drugs, because it makes a lot of money. They need drugs, right? So drugs can make you numbness. In America, they use it for surgery purpose, and they have to give a lot of opium drugs in modern medicines. Everything is about drugs, guys. War, even the war in Afghanistan, it it, it is involved drugs, opiums, poppy opiums, poppy flowers. So anyway, so they had this thing going on, and American CIA, Belair, he was from Texas, went there, met General Wayne Powell, became good friends, and he told Wayne Powell that, okay, you establish your own guerrilla units in the mountains here, and we will provide weapons for you. And we will provide food, money, and weapon. So at the time, they brought this money printing machine and set it in Long Tien. So General Wayne Powell was able to print his own money, the Lao paper money, just like the Lao government. So suddenly Wayne Powell had tons of money in Laos, in the Vientiane, right? To pay his soldiers, to pay for all these weapons, pay for all the food. And they're saying that in the 60s, Long Tien was the busiest airport in Southeast Asia. You guys know that. You guys know that, right? Because all the airplane will fly in and out of Long Tien instead of, So they deliver weapons, food, medicines for General Wayne Powell's guerrilla soldiers, and the airplane that dropping food and weapons from the air. to that, and they gave in general impulse, all these cannons, all these weapons, all these artilleries that they need just to bombard, to bomb to sabotage the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Okay, and there was a conversation. Everybody know this. I didn't think they put it in writing, but it was more like a promising from the CIA that. And Wayne Powell said, "Yes, I get all my people to do all this for you, but what do I get in return? What if one day you lose the war in Vietnam and you had to go home, and now we were enemy of the state. We turn ourselves to be enemy of the state against the Vietnamese, Viet Cong. What will you do? What's my people going to do? Anything you gonna do before I agree to do all these things?" And like the Bel Air, his government, the U.S. told him to tell Wayne Powell that, okay, so if one day we lose in the war, we going back home, we leave Vietnam alone, and you are now enemy of the state to the Vietnamese, Ho Chi Minh, and to the Vietnam, we will take all your people, military people, your soldiers and their family, to America or to another country. That was a promise. Okay, so you guys know that in 1969, when Wayne Powell visited, by that time Kennedy was already shot dead in Texas. So and then Nixon became the president, right? Became the president. After that, Wayne Powell came and visited Nixon, and now Nixon changed his plan. He no longer want to do what Kennedy did, so he want to, in '69 there's civil rights movement, Martin Luther King going on in the U.S. All these veterans are returned from Vietnam were, losing their limbs, handicapped, on wheelchair or drugs, traumatized, was a PSD, whatever. Uh, they came back and they protest, and they all went to D.C. and 1 million man march, and they had all these riots going on in the U.S. So Nixon cannot handle the war no more with Vietnam, because everything the war is is bringing it home. So in Vietnam, like the Buddhist people were pouring gasoline on themselves, peaceful protests, burn themselves alive, showing to the world that, okay, what America did in South Vietnam is a tragedy. It's killing a lot of people, and all this thing going on is this conflict. It's gonna destroy people's reputation about people. So Nixon decided not to fight the war anymore. And then Wayne Powell went back, and suddenly one day in 1970, 72, 73, and the American decided to pull back from Vietnam and get out of Laos. Now, Wayne Powell and his 3,500 soldiers and their family were transported by this American transported plane out of Long Chen to Thailand. And they had nowhere to go. So that's why they established this refugee camp in Thailand, called what is it called? The first one is, it's in Thailand. I don't remember the first camp. The camp that I was in was called Vinai. Okay, and then there's another one called Chiang Kam, and then there's another one called Nepal, and there's this one called the first one that they arrived. So guys, that's how. And then I think 76, 78, my parents also, after Vang Pao left and his soldier left, the Vietnamese came to Laos and started taking a lot of people to military to a concentration camp, which they arrest the royal king of Laos, the Hmong leader called Tu Bi Li Phom, and a lot of leaders that was involved in that. And Suphanawong and Khai Son, they took uh, over the country, and they took the royal king and everybody to Vien Sai and tortured them to death. Okay, so a lot of Hmong people were afraid that when they were left behind, they had to flee the village, the city, live in the jungle, become guerrillas, soldiers, and their family were hunted down like animals in the mountains. They were hunted out like animals by the Vietnamese, the Red Laos. So they'll come to your village, even though you were part of it, and then you try to be like, oh, I had nothing to do with it, and then they'll take your children into a place, and they ask your own child, say, what was your dad doing during this time? And then a child don't lie. A child only tell the officials that, oh, my dad was a soldier for General Wang Pao, and then suddenly you get arrested, and they tell you to go to a re-education camp. So now a lot of Hmong people that were left behind do not try to go to do not want to leave their homeland. Were forced to live because they will be arrested and killed. Right? You guys know all this? I'm just thought I'd tell you a story, like, how this happened. Just, and so these people would flee to the jungle. Like my grandparents, they were killed. My dad, my mom, then we fled to the jungle. We trekking 3 months, eating like lizards, plants, anything we can get on the road, cockroach, night crawlers, anything to fill your hunger. And just through the jungle, crossing to Thailand, the Mekong River, and well, my parents, when we got to the Mekong, we're waiting at night, and there's fire, 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 fire. What is it called? Fire. They're shooting. They were discovered by the Red Lao by the border in the Mekong River, who patrol the area. They had a fighting gun battle down there. So a lot of people were crossing to the other side, Thailand, and from Laos, and they're dead, got shot, and they flowed down the river. So if you were to empty the Mekong River today, you'll probably see over 3,000 skeleton among people in the Mekong River. Okay, and my parents vanished during that time in the firefight. Okay, now I firefight, yeah. So I got into Thailand side and with my uncle and them, and my parents were nowhere to be found. So once got hit during the fight, the night, we tried to cross the river, and boat patrol there, and was some ground troops, some camp there, some base there. They're shooting. So I end up in the camp with my uncle and them in Ban Vinai, and in the around 76, 78. And then I came to the U.S. 1987, 85, 86. And guys, when I first came here, I didn't speak no language, no English, not even yes or no. And when I had to go to school, first time in school, this white kid, I know there's a name, there's another one. His name was Duffy, and this one is Ricky. Ricky just try to attack me all the time. He's like, "What's up, Bruce?" Call me Bruce Lee, right? And he picked a fight. He beat me out in the bathroom when he called me, you piece of shit. You go back to your rice paddy, all these things like you stupid gook, whatever. We had a fight in the bathroom up during lunch in ninth grade. But I didn't know what he was. I didn't know what those language was. Gook and rice paddy and shit. I didn't know what he was saying to me, but I remember those words. And then he's pushing me in the bathroom, call me Bruce Lee. So I didn't know what Bruce Lee was, who Bruce Lee was in those days, because like I was from the jungle or the village, live in the mountain, so I didn't know. And until later, when I learned to speak a little bit of English and started to see the Bruce Lee movie on TV, KJEO Channel 24, California. Okay? 93571, whatever. And they were playing some this old Chinese movie, and I saw Bruce Lee's in there. I was like, oh. So later, I was like, okay, so Ricky was telling me about Bruce Lee. Yeah, that's probably what it is. And I learned all this gook and this geek and this rice paddy and this cockroach people and the boat people. Later on, that okay, so they're talking about we're from Vietnam, so they they think that we're the rice paddy. Rice paddy is like the rice field in Vietnam. So uh, it's a lot of races in those days for me, but it didn't really hurt me because I didn't know where it is. And even today, I'm not hurting because when people say that, because I know who I am, right? So that's how that was how I got here into the U.S. And I knew I had no place to go, no country to return. Even though I didn't want to be here, uh, the government here, the people here in America brought me here. It was the government here, it was the people here that you go to another country, you start war in the country. Now you turn them against themselves, and now in the end you walk away, and now they become they became enemy of the state to their own kind. Now they kill themselves, kill each other. So now these people had no place to go but to become refugees. So now whose fault it is? It was the U.S. that do all of that. So you had to bring all these people here. You know, so we're refugee. We're not like from a torn country like Civil War or like U.S. backup country like how the U.S. went to Afghanistan, and now they had to flee. They had to take out like Biden tell them to back off. Now all these Afghan that was helping the U.S. side got in trouble with the other Taliban. Now, when the airplane left, they climbed, they cling to the airplane, try to escape, and man, it's terrible. So it's always the U.S. policy, it's American policy, American interest. So yeah, a lot of Democrats they do these things, American interest. So they bring you do that now. You have to be responsible and bring these people here. Now, with these people here, the American people here knew nothing about these people. Now suddenly they start living with this community and these people. Now they're like, who are you guys? Where are you from? Why you look like Chinese? I'm not Chinese. Yes, you are. You look like Chinese. You're not you're Vietnamese. No, I'm not Vietnamese. Yeah, you rice patty, you goo, you geek, you but all Asian looks the same, so you think that they're the same, but some people have benefits to the U.S. They're helping the U.S. somehow in their time. Like the Hmong people actually helped the CIA, the American fighting the North Vietnamese during those times. So, but the American people here don't know anything about that. That was a secret war. Kennedy and them had their own secret. They didn't even let the government Laos know about it. The king, they just flew over Thailand to the mountain Laos, and being that that country was so back in like Stone Age, they had no technology of catching American going over to their country. It started based in the middle of the jungle, you know. It was being power. They all do all those things. So, but it was a conflict that caused a lot of Southeast Asian. Because of that, they also had 2 million Cambodians killed by Pol Pot, the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia, because American conflict with the Vietnamese, and everything split all over Asia. You ever see the movie of the Killing Field? Pretty sad thing. And the American people here didn't know anything about these secret stuff that American government did. So as me, a person that lives here now, I am a U.S. citizen. I had to go through a lot of things, suffer a lot of things. I had to take my tests. I had to study. I had to learn American language. I had to learn American writing. I had to change my diet. I had to become like American. I had to live here and work hard. I had to work 3 times harder than a regular white folks that works here to get the same pay. I had to do 2 jobs comparing to one of his jobs to live a regular life like him. Okay, to learn a lot of things, to adjust to a lot of things here, to leave my culture, to practice my religions, to stop doing that. I had to be like American, to live by the rule and not cause any problem. If I cause any problem, if I do anything a little against the law, you know, uh, I could be tortured. I can be arrested. Let's say I go sell drugs. Okay, 1 pound, and I can get 10 years in prison. But if it's a white guy or white kid selling 1 pound of marijuana, you probably get released after a week. Okay, this is the difference. So, but I had no place to go. Like I said, guys, if I had a country, I won't be here. I don't want to be here, right? Like, I don't know why these immigrants try to leave their homeland, their country, and try to get to the U.S. I don't understand it. To me, if I had a country, I would have lived there. No matter how poor it is, I'll stay there. I'm not trying to get here. So these people running away from their own country, their own people, just for economic reason, it's crazy. They should not be here. They should the government, their country should take care of their problems, not letting the people running away like this. Now Donald Trump's trying to deport them back. Like Colombia did not want to take them back. So this is crazy, okay? That's not right. Stay in your own country, people. If you have a country, do not try to go to the U.S. No matter how poor it is, it's better to be with your own people, with your own kind, wear your own color, live in your own country. Understand? If you like me, an Asian, live in a white world or white people neighborhood, I feel so lonely. I feel alone. I feel so unprotected. If anything happened, they can all gang up and kill me, beat me, and nobody will say anything. Imagine that, guys. All right? Being that I have no country, no place to go, I can't return because I'm an enemy of the state or descendant of the, enemy of the state. I'm not allowed to go back. I'm not allowed to live there. So this is where I am in the U.S. That's why I became citizen 1993, 94. I already knew that I no longer had no country. So I had to do something, become a citizen and live, study the life here, adjust myself to be the people here and trying to be the people here and live a peaceful life without causing any problem to the citizens here to survive, to live on. Okay, guys? And it's kind of sad, but it is what it is. Donald Trump's the president now, and he signed all this new thing, new law, whatever, and the people had to be deported because you are here illegally. Like me, I'm not here illegally. I went through concentration camp. My parents, my relatives, we all went through suffering, hungers, concentration camp, processed by United Nations, sponsorship to come here, to live here, and then go study American history and learn the life here, learn American rules, and adjust to it, become citizen. So now I'm like here now, and I can't go back. Okay, so but for those of you who haven't entered the U.S. or for those who enter here illegally, go home. Find your own way home, guys. Don't let them deport you. Don't let them come to you, arrest you. Surrender yourself and go home. That's how it is. It is better to be in your own country, be with your own race, be your own kind, be the one that you talk your own language and your own writing. No matter how bad, how poor, stay there. Understand? Opportunity will come if your government try to help you out. Yeah, there's no gold or no diamond here in the U.S. Yes, it's a land of the free, land of the free, like this brother Vaughn said, but you have to work hard. You have to work hard. I bought a nice home, nice car, but I don't get to drive. I don't get to live my home because I'm at work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. I come home, I only to sleep. Or I only see my kid or my wife just for a couple hours. We're gone. It's not enjoying life. It's called modern day slavery. Yeah, you're free, but you pay the fee. So this is how it is. America. But for those of you already here, live by the rule, follow, obey the law, become a good citizen. No stealing, no raping little kid, no raping women's, no touching nobody, no stealing, no illegal hunting. Keep everything under control by your local law, your state law, your federal law. Pay your tax, live your life peacefully. Thou shalt love our neighbors. Okay? Be nice to your neighbors, and they'll be nice to you. That's all. So let me tell you, like stories. Like I said, a lot of Americans don't know about us, Hmong people. So one time I went fishing in this lake in way up north. I was there crappie fishing, right? So I had this little jar of black shad, like this little rubber, plastic fishing lure, bait, artificial bait, I should say. So I got there. This old man, he's probably in his 70s, sitting there, and I realized he only one of his arms weak. He only had his right hand, so he had to hold his fishing pole by his elbow and crunch him like this. So he's using like some kind of bait that he, didn't catch anything. So he was there before me. When I got there, I cast my pole in about 20 minutes. I got 20 crappie fish already. And that was my limit, right? I was already got my limit. And I caught a female, stomachs 4 eggs. And I was looking at it and I let it go. And the old man asked me, why you let that fish go? And I said, oh, yeah, because there's a female. He has a stomach full of eggs, probably 400 or 500 little fish. So I had to let them go. I don't kill little females. That's the kind of thing that they do here in America. They don't kill the female because they require the female to reproduce. You only need one male to pregnant or to hatch 5 million fish, right? But you don't need 10 male fish. So then we start talking, and they say, yeah, I had a little mini stroke some time ago, and my left arm's not able to perform like I used to do. So we kind of talk, and then I mentioned I was fishing in North Dakota and stayed in a cabin by this couple that owned this cabin, and I rented this cabin. And then he's like, oh, and then he said he knew those people. They used to be cousins, and they live in the city once. So we're talking, and then I said to him, I'm going home. So I noticed that you haven't caught any fish. Do you need any bait that I have? Because I had this jar of black shad, and that's what the crappies are biting. And he's like, oh, sure, sure. If you were, why, if I can have one, your plastic bait. So I took one out. And I told him, you want me to hook it up for you and cast your pole for you? So yeah, 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 sure. So I hooked his bait to his line, and I cast his pole, and I gave him the pole, and right away, it's bite. So he pulled a crappie, about 10-inch crappie, and then he did a second round. The same bait, he's be catching like 5 fish. And then we're talking, right? And he's like, okay, so what nationality are you? And I told him, I'm Hmong. Hmong. Hmong is like part of the Mongolian tribes. But we left long time ago, so we're just Hmong now. And he's like, oh, never heard of it. I say, really? And I told him, so, I told him this. And he said, oh, I thought you were Vietnamese. And I said, no, 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 no. Vietnamese don't look like me. We got a different face structure. Because I'm Asian, I see another Asian, I know exactly who they are, what they are. I hear them speak, I know who they are. I look at their face and body structure, I can tell that's Vietnamese, I can tell that's Laotian, I can tell that's Cambodia, and I can tell that's Chinese, and that's Japanese, or that, etc. but you're a white guy, so you won't know. You thought all Asian is from the same country, and Vietnam is the one that had a war, Vietnam War with the U.S. So a lot of Americans hated the Vietnamese, but we're not the Vietnamese. Like the Japanese, they bombed Pearl Harbor, uh, and you guys hated the Japanese, but we're not part of them. We're helping the American. We're the American side. The reason we got here to the U.S. was because American interest in Laos and the CIA involvement with the Hmong people in Laos during the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s. So it's like, wow. And I never heard of that. And I'm gonna tell you, so this lake, it's a lot of residents here were complaining that a lot of Vietnamese come here fishing the lake, and now the crappie fishing here is very slow now because they're fishing a lot. And I told them, okay, so let me tell you, all these people that come here fishing in this lake, they're not Vietnamese. If you tell them that the Vietnamese, okay, so he's saying that the resident complained that these Vietnamese come fishing here and took all the fish, right? That's why I told the guy, I said, they're not Vietnamese, they're Hmong people. The reason they come fishing because they love eat the fish. So they pay their license fee, they come here to fish, so they have the right to fish, as long as they do the right thing. Then they not do anything illegal. If the fish is getting low and population of the fish getting low, the DNR will provide more. The DNR's job is to monitor the lakes, see what population of fish they have in there. If it gets less, they should set a new law, say, hey, no more fishing on this lake until certain year, because we are stocking more fish and too small for you guys to keep. So it's just like these Hmong people come here paying money to fish in there, so they already pay for it. So I told the guy that. And he said, oh, that makes sense. And I told him, yeah, back in the country where they're from, they do not, all they had, the meat protein they have is just fish. They have cows, big animal like cows, pigs, chickens, all this. They only raise them to sell in the market. They don't usually get to eat this. So majority of them only eat fish. So they love fish. They grew up, they go all eating fish. So fish is their meal. So I had to introduce this old guy, and then I even told him how America got involved in Vietnam, how we got here, how we helped the CIA fight the Viet Minh Trail, Ho Chi Minh Trail. So I got him by surprise, and he's like, told the whole story, and he's like, oh shit, oh well, this neighborhood here should know about this before they complain about your people. And I said, well, I know in the suburbs, a lot of Americans don't know about Hmong people. But in the urban city, busy life, a lot of people know about Hmong people. So, yeah, and the guy, we chat for a while, and then I told him, yeah, I gotta go home because it's getting late. So he's like, okay, thank you for the bait and for the fish. I will continue fishing for a while. So I left the guy, right? This is just a story I'm going to tell you guys. So no hard feeling, okay? Some Americans just don't know who you are. So they will talk to you like they're so racist. But just like Donald Trump, he's talking like that, but to me, he is not racist. He only talking in his mind. And the true thing is, yeah, people need to stay in their own country and keep this boundary, this territory, and don't invade the border and inventory and coming to the U.S. like you invading the U.S. Okay, you really want to go to the U.S. Try your visa, try your application to come here to work, or try international marriage law to come here as a wife, as a husband, and legally get your legal document, get your citizenship, like how I did it, through each step, you know. So don't worry about races, okay, guys. No, my last job that was 10 years ago before I moved, you know, to my current job. I was like a lead technician that I was taking care of these 6 machines, like CNC pouching CNC machines. There's an old guy. He's white. He works there as a machine operator. So my job was to go around these 6 machines. If any operator has a problem, I will troubleshoot and fix the problem for him because I worked there for almost 20 years and I kind of know these machines in the back of my head. Whatever problem come along, I will, I was able to pinpoint where it is. So this old guy came to work there for like 3 years. His name was Brian. He's old, so every day he has a problem, like the day shift operator will run this machine so nice all day, but then he come in, he doesn't like the way they had it. He start tweaking, adjusting a lot of things, and now everything went bad. We lost production. So I told him, why you keep messing around this machine? If you come into work and the day shift, the people before you already ran so long for so many hours, and this production's going, and you just taking over. Why you messing around with all this adjustment now? You had to throw everything off, starting over, reinvent the wheel. So he was mad at me. He was like, have a little costing on me. And I told him, I'm Asian. You're a white dude. Okay? Back in your days, you're older than me, right? Back in your days, you're in high school, you're in college, I was still chasing animal in the jungle while with no clothes on, with my spear, right? Like the movie, The Lord of the Ring, not the Lord of the Ring, but the Lord of the Fly. Those little kids with the spear go hunting this pig for food because they're abandoned in the island, right? I was I was like that in those days, in those times. And you went to college, you come back now. We work in the same place here, and I I was able to manage 6 machines here as a technician, and you're the operator. Why are you so mad at me? I'm just telling you what is not right, what's not wrong when you touch that messed up the machine. Okay? So why you mad at me, right? So I told him all these things. He just shut his mouth, and I told him, if I was like you, if I was raised here, I went to school here, and English was my language, and you know, the language of my tongue, and I would go to college. I would be the president of this company now. I won't be running a machine like you as a white guy. And so I told him straight like that. But because I'm Asian, no matter how educated I am, how smart I am, this machine is a piece of candy to me. But because my color of skin, my face, and where I came from, this is at least they gave, I can handle this. I cannot go beyond this because they won't let me go beyond this. You guys understand what I mean? Okay, so I had to stay on the job that is safe for me. I cannot become the manager on that because my job would be risky. That's what I meant about this. So wow, it's been 1 hour and 30 minutes. Okay, guys, thank you for listening. I hope you guys learned something from here and about deportation. Uh, I think it's fair, it's okay, and uh, even though I'm Asian, I'm here. I was here as a refugee in the 80s because the American Vietnam conflict, because America came over there and started the war with the Vietnamese. Now, they recruited my people as a refugee, as a guerrilla fighters, and then they didn't finish the war. Because of Nixon and civil rights and all these protests, and then the Whitewater Nixon cause of that, and then uh, they pulled back. They did not finish the war in Vietnam, so uh, we were part of the tragedy conflict. So we helped Americans. So we get to come here, and I feel happy that I had the right to be here, but I also had the right to be respect and the right to follow the laws here, the rules here, and live as a citizen here in the righteous way. So I have the right to be what I want to say here, but for those of you illegally try to come here, enter here, and for economical reason, you should think about and just go back home and don't try to enter the United States. Live your life as your own people and in your own country. So for us who had no country left, old man, I'm like an old man, and an old man. An old man has no country. That's how sad it is. Life is never sadder than a man without a country, okay? So, love you all. Thank you for following me and for watching me and for your comments. We'll see you another time, okay? Thank you. Bye.